Hello everyone, Sarah here from Healing Embodied. If you are watching this video, you have probably experienced intrusive thoughts during some of the most intimate moments with your partner or with another person. This can be extremely distressing because you want so badly to just experience connection and pleasure, but your thoughts are getting in the way. I want to help you understand why this is happening and how you can approach it. It's very tempting to place meaning on this and the thoughts and begin to interpret the fact that you're struggling to connect intimately as, oh, something must be wrong. We must not be compatible. If we really loved each other enough, if we were just attracted to each other enough, then sex and intimacy would just be easy. It would just flow, it would just happen. And this actually isn't true. There are a few different reasons why you may be experiencing intrusive thoughts during intimacy. One reason is because intimacy is highly vulnerable. Anxiety does not like vulnerability. It often thinks that when you are vulnerable, you are going to get hurt. If I open my heart to someone, if I let them see all of me, then I am opening myself up to the possibility of pain. Put yourself in the most vulnerable situation, sex and intimacy, and anxiety might pop up to try and protect you. For those of you who experience high levels of anxiety within relationships generally, your anxiety is essentially viewing your partner or your relationship as the problem. The closer you get to your partner, the closer you get to the problem, the more intense the anxiety gets. Intimacy is probably the closest you can get to another person, physically and emotionally. So it makes sense that anxiety would be at an all-time high. You may also have learned through past experiences that being in your body was unsafe. When you've experienced pain or trauma in your past, you may have internalized and learned from that experience that it is actually safer to be in your mind and in your thoughts, in the intrusive thoughts, than it is to be in your body and your senses. Sex and intimacy requires you to be in your body. It exists in your body. And if this doesn't feel safe yet, then intrusive thoughts may come up to try and keep you safe. Finally, you may have learned that sex and intimacy was bad. Maybe you grew up in purity culture or in a highly religious household. Maybe you just never received adequate sex education. Maybe sex was just not something that was talked about. Maybe you never learned about your body and experiencing pleasure. If you have an internalized belief that sex and intimacy is bad or unclean or unsafe, then it's extremely difficult to relax and enjoy the moment. The good news is that you are not doomed to always experience intrusive thoughts during intimacy. When this happens, you can anchor into your senses and redirect your attention and focus away from the thoughts and into the sensations. Maybe you simply focus on what your partner's hands feel like on your skin. Or you focus on what they taste like. Or you focus on what you can hear in the moment, the sound of your breath, the sound of your partner's breath. This is a beautiful tool, anchoring into the senses, to interrupt the cycle of thoughts in the moment, but we also need to do the deeper, more in-depth inner work to heal whatever core wounds are preventing you from experiencing connection and pleasure. We do this by learning through embodiment and body work, being in your senses, being with your body, being vulnerable and opening up, how to access safety in your body again. Through movement and embodiment practices, we can teach our body mind that sex and intimacy can be safe, that your partner isn't a threat, and you can learn how to soften, how to relax, how to connect, how to experience pleasure. You can learn how to lean into vulnerability instead of leaning away from it. This is not something that we can do in our minds, because intimacy doesn't happen in our minds. Intimacy happens in the body, so we need to use the body as our vehicle for healing. If this is something that you are interested in and something you want support with, head to the link in the description of this video. You can read and learn all about the different options for how we can support you. We have several different options, so you can really find something that feels good and works for you and where you're at. And until next time, I can't wait to see you live and love wholeheartedly and lean into juicy, deep, pleasurable connection.